ACT question here. The weekly fee for staying at the Pleasant Lake Campground is $20 per vehicle and $10 per person. Last year, weekly fees were paid for V vehicles and P persons. Which of the following expressions gives the total amount in dollars collected for weekly fees last year? So once again, up there it says it's $20 per vehicle and $10 per person. It also says up there V is the number of vehicles and P is the number of persons. Well, the weekly fees would be $20 for a vehicle, so 20V, plus $10 for a person, 10P, 20V plus 10P. Letter A is the correct answer. It says if R equals 9, B equals 5, and G equals -6, what does R plus B minus G times B plus G equal? So we're just going to substitute in. Substitute 9 in for R, 5 in for B, and -6 in for G. So wherever there is an R, you're putting 9. Wherever there's a B, you're putting 5. And wherever there's a G, you're putting -6. But be very careful of your signs when you're putting these in. Minus G there, that's going to be minus a -6. And on the end here, plus G, that will be plus a -6. Watch your signs. This is an ACT question, but a very easy one. You wouldn't want to miss this just because of a mistake on a sign. 9 plus 5 minus a -6. That 5 minus a -6, two negative signs back to back make a positive or a plus. And then 5 plus a -6, when you have a positive and a negative back-to-back, that makes a minus. So 9 plus 5 plus 6, that's going to be 20. And 5 minus 6, that is -1. So we're looking at 20 times -1, and that is -20, which is letter F. A copy machine makes 60 copies per minute. A second copy machine makes 80 copies per minute. The second machine starts making copies 2 minutes after the first machine starts. Both machines stop making copies 8 minutes after the first machine started. Together, the two machines made how many copies? Sounds confusing, but it's really quite simple. You have a first machine that starts in making 60 copies per minute. 2 minutes after that starts, the second copy machine starts in making 80 copies per minute. The question is, after 8 minutes, how many did these two make together? After 8 minutes from when the first machine started. So that first machine, 8 minutes is up, it's 480 copies. And after that 8 minutes is up from the first machine, the second machine has also made 480 copies. Notice that's an answer. It's not the right answer, but that's an answer up there. Together, how many did they make? 480 and 480 is 960, which happens to be letter E. Marlin is bowling in a tournament and has the highest average after 5 games with scores of 210, 225, 254, 231, and 280. In order to maintain this exact average, what must be Marlin's score for his 6th game? ACT question again, very common question with averages involved. These are his scores right now. That's after 5 games. So to get his average right now, add those scores that he has, divide by 5. So if you add those scores together, it's 1,200. He has had 5 games, so if you divide 1,200 by 5, his average right now is 240. Now the question is, in order to maintain this exact average, what must he score for his 6th game? Well, if he has to hit this exact average of 240, then he has to hit a 240 again. It's just common sense. In order to get a 240, his average right now is 240. He must maintain that by hitting a 240 again. Letter J. Joelle earns her regular pay of $7.50 per hour for up to 40 hours of work in a week. For each hour over 40 hours of work in a week, Joelle is paid time and a half, 1.5 times her regular pay. How much does Joelle earn for a week in which she works 42 hours? The regular pay is $7.50 for up to 40 hours in a week. So if you take the $7.50 times 40, that's $300, just the regular pay. That's not the overtime pay. Her overtime pay is what's known as time and a half, 1.5 times the 750, or 1.5 times 750. She's making $11.25 per hour for each overtime hour. So she makes $7.50 per hour for each regular hour, but $11.25 per hour for each overtime hour. So her overtime pay, she works 42 hours. So that means she has 40 regular hours with 2 overtime hours. So her overtime pay would be $11.25 times 2, or $22.50. So the magic calculation here is the regular pay plus the overtime pay, $300 plus $22.50. That is $322.50, which is letter C. Which of the following mathematical expressions is equivalent to the verbal expression, a number x squared is 39 more than the product of 10 and x? So you're deciding which of these expressions matches that verbal phrase. A number x squared is. Where the word is, that's where your equal sign goes. So a number x squared, just take x and square it. Again, where the word is, that's where your equal sign goes. 39 more than the product of 10 and x. Product means multiply, so take 10 times x and then add 39 onto it. 39 more than, that'd be adding 39 onto the product of 10 and x. That'd be 10 times x, so x squared equals 39 plus 10x, which happens to be letter K.